Okay, what?
The soul renewed. The SPINA de ROSULA talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the SPINA de ROSULA.
And
we
then
spoke about Poisson's present and future.
Okay. And then everybody reenacted Noah's Ark.
Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, boon or bane of the Fontaine Research Institute.
Or maybe a gigantic backup plan in the event of a horrible mishap.
The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team.
Because the first is always considered the canary in the coal mine. Who?
Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
We just didn't meet them in that capacity. And we somehow came back. Looks like Charlotte actually got what she needed.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down.
It's good.
The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people.
Ugh.
Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your well-traveled eye.
Hyman's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me.
What?
You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
Okay.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress. There are some things you'll only know when you get there.
Okay. I guess that doesn't count. Who cares? And the Fatui are involved.
Navia!
Who are you?
Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
What brings the Fatui here?
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Did the Fatui kind of want to prove God wrong by getting involved? Is that what they wanted to do? They wanted to prove God wrong? Or, no, not prove God wrong. They wanted to prove the heavenly principles wrong. Does anything that has ever happened here have any... Now that I think about it, because the Fatui are involved in everything, do they have some benefit to gain from this? Is everything that was involved in every other nation, is it somehow going to be tied into the Snezhnaya update?
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garun Snezhovich. He represented the Nave in sending us a large amount of supplies. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats.
Okay.
But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the SPINA.
You just don't want to advertise in front of everybody and show that you're involved.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible.
That would be fine. Thanks.
Friendly. Okay, Spider-Man. Friendly neighborhoods.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clarence?
Of course she is.
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
Okay.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The SPINA has need of more decision makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material there, I bet.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
Couldn't you just answer the question?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Chlorand.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
Okay. And then we smiled. But somehow
How did it
sparkly.
go? Was it a good shot?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots.
Take more pictures of the persona with the clicking shutter does the same rapid fire
All
visiting.
right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
Okay. And then you were back there late in the day.
You're very quick.
Yes. Considering the fact that she takes pride, only an anime can close your eyes on a photo and still turn out good.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you after all, Miss Chlorand.
Also, not to brag, I'm just gonna brag! That's basically it!
Wow, you really do have that never say die spirit. I'm impressed.
Except she did have the never say brag, die spirit.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
Okay.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin who told Monsieur NEUVILLETE, and he told you, right?
That's a very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the Fortress become so friendly towards the media?
Because prison decided to be less angry and more involved in actually helping people.
I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridsley will make a personal appearance.
What if he does? Actually, he made a personal appearance when helping everybody out. I'm sure he'll make a personal appearance after.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea and...
Okay. Go to the Fortress to Meripede. Yes, here. There it is, here.
Wow, guess we're here again, huh?
Yes.
There's a real nostalgic feeling to this place.
Yeah, we came as prisoners, but now...
Looks like you've been missing us.
Now that I think about the fact that NEUVILLETE has been here before, I guess he's not really a prisoner at all. Because in Fontaine, no one is a prisoner now. No one is a prisoner of fate.
Did you come all the way to the entrance to greet us?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse recommended to me.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress, sir.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Okay, now lead us down to solitary. Jiro. Interested. I'm still in my frickin'... Hello. And then she took her picture.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the photos we need.
You could have said that before taking the pictures!
Miss Charlotte, do these pictures really need to be published on the cover of the Steambird?
Do you have to ask that question after the pictures are taken? And why didn't you ask before?
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier.
Because she doesn't want to be seen as having any relationship?
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important to you then?
Like it's a marriage proposal or something?
No, I just... this is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on.
More than Lady Farina? Sure, why not? I'd rather anybody else a genius, as long as they don't run with it too goddamn much.
The boat that brought about a miracle. The ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend. Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Okay.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that long?
She really does not know how to squeeze an opportunity for all the
You
work.
already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo?
Did you really have to use the word couple?
What? Oh, they still have,
Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Is that what she's thinking as well?
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. We've seen this kind of thing before.
Yeah, they just don't want to admit it, or they're overly resistant.
Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this new drink I came up with?
No. No. And everybody else is going to be like, no.
Ah, Sijui.
Ah!
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, sure. Come on, Miss Sijuane. Over this way. Let's find a brighter spot.
Because you look dark as hell.
Sure. Do I have to smile?
Probably, but that's up to Charlotte.
Oh, how have things been at the fortress?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Yeah, like we proved Heaven wrong, and we saved everybody in the process, so... no harm, no loss.
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurier? Miss Lurvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that, just pity.
Wah.
I'll just leave the spotlight to you two.
Okay, you want the behind-the-scenes characters. Because everyone who's ever had the spotlight too much has already had too much of the spotlight, so now it should be the people who don't have much of a spotlight. You walk with largely for a while and show news from above ground.
I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
So we actually found him. He was abducted by the frickin' whale that tried to eat everything.
He sure did win them over.
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Okay, so even he must go back to prison.
Oh, actually...
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties.
Wow. So they're gonna carry out their sentences. But here's the thing. Child was convicted. Like, I don't think the Traveler knows. Maybe the Traveler knows, or I don't know if Risley knows. But basically, Child was convicted on the overturning conviction of the actual Hydro Archon, which is a Focalor. So, I don't know. My guess is Risley's not up to date, but he's just carrying along with whatever happens, so yeah.
As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
So... okay.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Okay.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day here.
Okay.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go. Till next time, everyone.
Okay.
There'll be a next time?
Oh, God. God.
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time. Until then.
Underwater factory, not a prison.
All right. Last stop, the docks.
Okay. Where it all started, where it all began. What?
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently...
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Yes! It all comes full circle now. Dang.
Would you like a magic pocket?
Are you gonna try to show me a magic trick? Am I gonna see Lady Farina down here as well?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal.
Trick a friend. I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
Gee, I wonder who's susceptible to lying. Everyone!
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Okay.
Is this what you meant by, I'll help you make some more friends?
By getting them to do all the hard work?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Sure. Please, write down my address.
I'm constantly depressed and barely talk to anybody, but I'll just be like that.
Lynette sure is working hard to help Fremine socialize.
Eh, why not?
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Okay.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
Okay!
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
That said, does Fremina care? No.
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show eventually.
Speaking of first steps, this is literally the area where I took the first step into Fontaine.
Lynette, could you come over?
Got it.
Okay. And everybody gets there.
That Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you. So, how have things been, Traveler?
Good. I somehow prevented a Noah's Ark scenario from ever happening, and through an indirect process of proving heaven wrong, I somehow saved the day.
Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
I even sometimes have a hard time coming to terms with what the hell just happened, but I'll just go with it.
That's alright. We were more than happy.
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well...
What?
After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
Okay. Okay, even after all that, the Fatui still managed to get the gnosis. Because we can only figure out how the hell to stop fate.
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
So she did give the gnosis to the Fatui. Without any resistance. You know what? As much as it's really messed up to the Traveler, my guess is to Lady Farina, the gnosis is a horrible reminder of the 500 years of lying to herself and the suffering that it involves. So, maybe, in some aspect, it's no surprise that she gave it up, because it's a horrible reminder, but giving up the gnosis was like giving up godhood, and actually living like a decent human being, ever happily after.
Yes,
she doesn't want
I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be anywhere near that thing!
It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down.
Or maybe it's the fact that she doesn't want... It's like being the child of an abusive parent and wanting to give up a photo of said abusive parent and not wanting to be anywhere near that thing.
Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
Yeah, just give us your ever so important chess piece of heavenly principles and we'll leave everyone be.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit irresponsible?
Considering the fact that through whatever messed up means and otherworldly, interdimensional, inner space, eternal matters that have somehow involved the Foslers and NEUVILLETE, and the fact that the Foslers has faced punishment to this day, I'm pretty sure Lady Farina is without responsibilities and she can be happy. So she's free of her responsibility as a Hydra Archon, so there's no question of responsibility here or irresponsibility given the lack of responsibility.
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur NEUVILLETE has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
Yeah, because Monsieur NEUVILLETE is now a full Hydro Dragon as a result of the title, position, and actual existence of the Hydra Archon literally being non-existent as a result of the Oratrice, and the fact that it literally took 500 years to kill a god as a self-mercy kill in that aspect. And the fact that, once again, Farina is not even, it also freed Farina of her suffering and torment.
So there's some reason for this that only NEUVILLETE knows about?
Yeah.
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Meripede a while back.
I can only imagine we can only see these scenes after the NEUVILLETE story quest, but we'll find out.
Isn't he real big? But back to the topic. The Gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Yeah, because he tried to overcompensate with his Tartaglia form, which normally does screw up him after all that. I guess we can now call him one of my war buddies. Because that's what happens when you overcompensate. It's like a Kaioken from Dragon Ball Z. It screws you up after.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
Yeah, well, I really do wonder if in the end that they are going to be considered allies in the 6.0 update when Hoyoverse decides to come to that. At some point when Hoyoverse decides to release a Snezhnaya update, who's going to be the main antagonist when the Fatuis are considered the allies?
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
The knave? Why, yes it is.
Father.
Or mother. The Abyss Order.
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the Traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Right, you just don't want to be famous like everybody else. Okay.
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as Harbingers, yes.
What do you plan to do with all the chess pieces?
Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks.
Yeah, well, how does that make you any better than Lady Farina, considering the fact that she's worn a mask way longer than you?
Switching my masks is something I've always done.
Will you keep your position after all this?
Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever?
Ah, right, because I somehow defied fate and turned everything around, and now you want to jump on that.
As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
Okay. Actually, I remember something. Please help us deliver this.
A vision? All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
We still had his vision the whole entire time. And now we're actually going to give it back to him.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
You want to take a picture of me?
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Okay. And
Farewell,
now,
Father.
who's actually a mother figure, but I don't know. I don't know if we're actually going to figure out in a story quest why the knave, who's a mother figure, is called a father. I guess gender is a little bit different, but who the hell am I to complain? I see myself as trans.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
So, well, if you haven't noticed, she has a story quest of her own. I have noticed at the beginning of this quest.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler. Paimon.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met, too. And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right now. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own paths, and serendipity will lead you to your fated friends.
Right.
All right, then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so we'll get going now. Have a good day, you two.
Okay.
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see what Neuvillette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to check.
Oh. So, do I still get to hear Lady Farina crying in the fountain? Or has the crying finally stopped? No? Okay, never mind. Nope. Nope, no more Easter egg. Whatever that is, that's gone. No more freaking crying in the fountain. The crying is gone. After 500 years, the crying has finally stopped.
Fortress! Ooh, he really is there!
Yes, he is. Now, what are you going to divulge? The last thing I'm going to worry about. Which I'll explain after this.
So, you really are here, Neuvillette? I didn't think you were going to have free time this...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, Garnetzx glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
Basically, we had to prove Heaven wrong. Actually, start from the beginning. Basically, Fontaine's prophecy outlines an idea that Lady Farina, the Fossilers Lady Farina has as the Hydra Archon, where in the process of trying to go behind the Heavenly Principle's back, she tried to make humans out of the Oceanids, and then the prophecy ensued to the point where, through 500 years, basically the Fossilers wanted to try to find some loophole in the Heavenly Principles, in which she did, and in the process of doing that, Farina suffered for 500 years of crying and lying to herself, but now she doesn't have to do that anymore. Long story short, the whole entire process was a mercy killing to herself as the Fossilor, so that Neuvillette would be considered a full Hydro Dragon, to regain his full power as a result of being lost to the Heavenly Principles, and then, in the process of being a full Hydro Dragon, he would allow the Oceanid humans to become full humans, which allowed him to save everybody, prove the prophecy wrong, and hold out long enough to prove Heaven wrong, and end the crying, suffering, and end the goddamn act that is the Lady Farina persona. Yes, no?
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
Ha! No, besides Lothly preferring telling the truth concerning what he saw that day. Fossils to see the heaven political Euphorian land performance to save Fontaine.
Whoa. So that's what happened?
I only saw Farina's part myself.
Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign.
Yep.
But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
You turned them into full human beings, because all Fontanians were Oceanids. And by overruling that aspect, you turned them into human beings.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Okay.
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
It was only at this point that the Fontanians were finally, truly born.
Yeah,
Humans.
and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too!
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask.
How did you feel the whole entire part? To finally have it all end?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About the initial verdict that was passed on a child? He's
I
gonna
have
explain.
investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability.
Basically, Child was convicted under the Focalor.
As for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the trial,
the Oratrice was actually the Focalor.
Whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
He was convicted to hold the prophecy off.
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got another question. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Where do human beings come from?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual.
Yeah, spiritual ritual.
Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
So, was it a whole other... Was the fountain just a constant process of reincarnation?
Paimon sorta gets it.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Well, Fontaine's future...
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest.
I honestly don't blame her!
Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
Yeah. Good.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal.
Yeah, living 500 years in a lie, it kind of does Do something, you!
But now that she no longer has to play the role of Fosulor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Fosulor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
And not based on the Oratrice. The judge passes the sentence and the verdict. Not the verdict and the sentence is carried out by something else.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the UDEX, huh?
Yeah. Also, it really puts into perspective the idea of everything being overlapped now that there's distinction.
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
So in other words, Justice is not going to power the energy grid anymore. And now the energy grid is going to have to come from somewhere else.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was used to kill the Hydro Archon.
Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay.
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Because you want to still have... You don't want to leave everyone in Fontaine hanging without an energy source.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Fontaine's Gnosis.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift.
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it is lost. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
You'd rather give in now, and not have to deal with anything else after.
What complicated considerations. Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
And maybe the fact that, Farina wants nothing to do with it anymore.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
About the next stop of my journey. Not long.
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume? I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land.
It's the Pyro Nation, the jungle area.
As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
Yet you have little experience over it.
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there.
Why?
Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity.
Ooh, so dragons can be part of the nation.
Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame.
You're gonna meet Kratos. Oh, darn it.
There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
And something tells me, of course, there's the next Harbinger you'll be dealing with, the Captain.
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you.
In the meantime, I have at least 6 or 7 story quests to get through to.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
I have no more questions except for... It's about time I move on to Natlan. But I'll deal with the story quests first, before Natlan.
about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
What did she also say? What did she also reveal?
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going...
What
and then
next?
they're blown.
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power. What it's made of.
Whose?
It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Neither do I.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
The Gnosis.
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me, but I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
The remains of what? A chess piece? A long-awaited game played over time? And also, how many times have I ever heard of a chess piece being used in an anime?
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him.
Okay.
It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense. Which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with you. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you.
And the remains of the third. Therefore, the Traveler is the fourth descender. The Gnosis is from the remains of the third, which is...
To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts. And my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
To die in some manner or another is a fear of death.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him.
Next time. You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger, then.
Child? So, Child's the messenger? Or is it somebody else?
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
Really? The chess piece has a person's remain.
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
Okay, maybe not a literal, like, corpse or something like that. It's just, like, property left over.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
A descender, she mentioned one of them. I am the fourth descender. For me, this information means two things. One of the Gnosis are related descenders, and two, the one who came before me has already died. Her sibling has already died?
I guess that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder. Does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right?
Yeah, because it somehow makes the Traveler special.
No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy.
When NEUVILLETE talks about the Traveler's body, sure, let's go with that.
Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck.
That's not bad luck. This scenario right now is not bad luck. What I'm thinking about after this whole scenario will be bad luck. I will show you bad luck.
What's child
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Whatever.
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
It took 500 years to kill a god to prove heaven wrong, to restore you to your full power, to allow Fontaine to be saved.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
Yeah, to make a point that whatever the heavenly principles did is no different than whatever she had to go through or what was stripped of her.
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will.
You understand the will of the gods, considering the fact that you are pretty much a higher-up person?
I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops.
Wishes.
Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Ow! Ah! Now, here's the last chance I will have within the amount of days that I have, given that I can only get it so much. If I don't, this will be considered bad luck. Bad luck. So! Bad luck. Bad luck, purple. Bad luck. Bad luck. That was bad luck. Everything's bad luck. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I refer to as bad luck. God. That's straight up bad luck. Screw it! Screw it! Screw all of it! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it here and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!